What if Europe did not come to America just to watch the World Cup, but to ask a question nobody expected? Why does this only happen every 4 years? After all the headlines, all the warnings, all the doubts about America, what did they actually find here? Roads that breathe, stadiums that roar, strangers who welcome, and a country so ready for greatness that leaving suddenly feels harder than arriving. America every summer?
I think America should host the World Cup every year.
No way. They don't care about soccer out here.
Go to Europe and watch a soccer game out there and you'll see the energy in the atmosphere.
There's objectively not a better place to watch sports than America. Like LA, for example, is a very safe place to watch sports.
Bro, they're playing in the hood.
No, every 3 years. It's my favorite number, I don't know.
Every 4 years, right? Okay, soccer fan.
I have to say this about the World Cup. America has absolutely smashed it. Before this tournament, you had people online saying it's going to be a terrible World Cup. America doesn't like football. Nobody's going to travel. We're not going to feel welcomed. And it's been quite the opposite. We've got fans from all corners of the globes. We've got packed world-class stadiums, by the way.
The funny thing about this question is that it does not sound serious until you watch European fans actually live inside an American World Cup summer. At first, why not every year? Feels like pure football madness, the kind of thing a fan says after too much sun, too much noise, and a stadium hot dog that arrives looking like it has its own zip code. But after a few days in the United States, the question starts behaving less like a joke and more like a quiet confession. For years, many Europeans have been shown a version of America that is mostly argument, danger, politics, and chaos. Then they land for World Cup 2026 and find something much harder to fit into a headline. Highways wide enough to breathe, hotels built for families with actual luggage, restaurants that serve food like they are feeding a high school football team after overtime, and stadiums that seem designed by people who genuinely believe comfort is a public service. That is where the culture shock begins. In London, match day can mean squeezing through packed tube stations and walking through streets that were never meant to handle modern crowds. In Paris, moving across the city during a major event can feel elegant on paper and exhausting in real life, especially when everyone else has the same brilliant transport idea at the same time. In Rome, history is everywhere, but so are narrow streets, older infrastructure, and the charming little reminder that not every beautiful city was built for 100,000 visitors trying to find Gate C. America, meanwhile, looks at a crowd and starts measuring in lanes, exits, ramps, parking lots, shuttle buses, security lines, and emergency access. It is not romantic in the old world sense, but it works with the confidence of a diner waitress carrying 6 plates and remembering everyone's refill. A European fan may not love car culture at first, but when a stadium sits beside giant roads, huge lots, and hotel clusters that actually understand event traffic, the whole machine begins to make sense. Then there is lodging. Anyone who has stayed in a compact hotel room near an old European city center knows the experience. One suitcase opens, and suddenly the room becomes a puzzle from IKEA with emotional consequences. In many American host cities, space feels less like a luxury and more like the default setting. Bigger rooms, wider beds, ice machines down the hall, parking outside, chain hotels everywhere, and breakfast areas where someone is calmly making waffles at 7 a.m. Like civilization depends on it.
I just checked into probably my favorite hostel in the world. Let me show y'all. This is Home Hostel in Lisbon, Portugal. Really big windows. This is a 4-bed all-male dorm. Really nice beds.
Food completes the spell. European fans arrive expecting meals, then America hands them portions that look negotiated by a generous uncle. Barbecue, burgers, tacos, wings, pancakes, stadium nachos, refillable drinks, late-night diners. It becomes part of the tournament itself. The country does not simply host fans, it feeds them until they begin making emotional decisions. So when Europeans say America could host the World Cup every year, they are really noticing capacity. Roads, rooms, food, stadiums, service, scale, and that strange American habit of turning inconvenience into an industry. Europe has the soul of football, and nobody should pretend otherwise. But America has the event machine, polished, oversized, slightly ridiculous, and deeply welcoming. That is why some visitors start feeling reluctant to leave. They came with headlines in their heads, but they lived inside highways, tailgates, cold hotel rooms, full plates, friendly strangers, and stadiums that roared like summer had found its national anthem. By the end, every 4 years no longer sounds like tradition. It sounds like America being asked to wait politely. Highway fever. The strangest reason European fans start dreaming about a World Cup every summer may not be the football at all. It is the roads? That sounds boring until you realize American roads are not just roads during a tournament. They become part of the show, like the opening act nobody paid for, but everyone ends up talking about in the hotel elevator.
One thing I wasn't expecting here in America is how smooth your roads are. I mean, look at this. Where's the cobblestone? It's all smooth and
A fan from London, Paris, or Rome is used to a different kind of matchday movement. In London, Wembley is served by trains and the underground, which is impressive, but the crowd can still pour into the system like someone emptied a stadium into a drinking straw. In Paris, the metro is brilliant for daily life, yet major events can turn transfers into a slow human chessboard. In Rome, the city is gorgeous, ancient, emotional, and occasionally seems to ask visitors whether they have considered simply walking since Julius Caesar managed without rideshare. America gives them another sensation entirely: distance with confidence. The U.S. interstate highway system stretches for roughly 49,000 miles, according to Federal Highway Administration figures, and that number is not just trivia. It explains why a country this huge can treat movement as part of the event plan rather than a panic button. In many American host cities, the stadium does not depend on one narrow historic corridor or one overworked station breathing into a paper bag. It connects to highways, ring roads, ramps, parking fields, hotels, airports, and suburban arteries that look as if they were drawn by someone who believed traffic should at least have room to be dramatic.
I bloody love driving in America. It's such a pleasure. It's such an absolute pleasure. We've had to change our car purely because we needed to, the old car had a service, but we've got this Jeep Wagoneer.
I am so fucking amazed by the drivers in Texas. Babe, it's literally 8:30 in the morning right now, and I am in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and we are going 70 miles an hour.
One of the best bits about America now, a year on, that I like about America is you can turn right on a red light. I do like that.
Do you like it now?
I do like it now.
This is where European visitors begin to understand the American addiction. Driving to a game here can feel less like commuting and more like joining a rolling parade. Flags in windows, coolers in trunks, jerseys at gas stations, families stopping for snacks that could legally qualify as groceries. The trip becomes a warm-up ritual. Even the gas station gets involved. In some countries, a roadside stop is where you buy water and regret. In America, it can turn into a small food court with beef jerky, breakfast sandwiches, coffee, restrooms, and a cashier who calls you buddy like you're already on the roster. That is not a small cultural difference. It changes the emotional rhythm of the tournament. In Europe, the magic is often compressed into the city center, beautiful but tight, intense but crowded. In America, the experience spreads out. The match begins on the highway, continues in the parking lot, explodes inside the stadium, then keeps glowing during the late drive back when everyone is tired, sunburned, and still arguing about the referee with the seriousness of a Supreme Court hearing. So when Europeans say America could host the World Cup every year, they are praising more than big roads. They are reacting to a country that has turned movement itself into comfort. The road does not feel like an obstacle before the fun. It feels like the first chapter. That may be why some visitors feel strangely attached after only a short stay. The America they were warned about on television was supposed to feel tense and broken. The America they meet through World Cup travel feels open, useful, loud, friendly, and almost unfairly easy to enjoy. By the time they leave, the highway has done something sneaky. It has convinced them that going somewhere in America is already part of being there. Beds for days. One reason European fans start saying America could host the World Cup every year is surprisingly simple. They can actually sleep somewhere. That sounds like a boring detail until you have tried booking a hotel room during a major football event in an old European capital, where one night can cost like a small apology to your bank account, and the room is still narrow enough that your suitcase has to sleep standing up. This is where America begins to feel unfairly prepared. A World Cup is not only about stadiums and flags. It is about beds, showers, elevators, parking, breakfast, luggage, late arrivals, early checkouts, families with children, fans who miss connections, and one exhausted man in a jersey trying to find the ice machine at midnight like he is searching for buried treasure. In many European cities, the beauty is real, but the space is limited. Paris has that postcard magic, yet hotel rooms near central areas can feel carefully designed to make two adults negotiate every movement like diplomats. London gives you history, pubs, tube stations, and charm. But during peak event periods, staying close to the action can become a financial workout. Rome is unforgettable, but old buildings, narrow streets, and boutique hotels often remind visitors that the city was built for emperors, pilgrims, and scooters. Not necessarily thousands of fans rolling in with carry-on luggage and emotional support jerseys. America has a different instinct. It does not tuck visitors into the city like delicate bookmarks. It spreads them out, plugs them into highways, and gives them options. Airport hotels, suburban hotels, business hotels, extended stay suites, motels, resorts, short-term rentals, and giant chains sitting beside interstates like friendly rest stops wearing name tags. In the United States, a fan can stay 20 or 30 minutes from the stadium and still feel connected because the road system, parking culture, and rideshare habits make distance less frightening. The numbers explain the feeling. Las Vegas, even though it is not a 2026 host city, shows the American model clearly with more than 150,000 hotel rooms in the market. Orlando has long been known for a massive hotel supply built around tourism, conventions, and theme parks. New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, Atlanta, Miami, and other host region markets already handle huge flows of visitors for sports, concerts, conventions, holidays, and business travel. America did not build this hospitality machine only for one tournament. The World Cup simply walks into a system that was already wearing sneakers. That is why European fans may feel a little spoiled after a few days. The hotel room is bigger. The bed has the confidence of a small raft. The bathroom does not require advanced choreography. There's usually air conditioning strong enough to make August behave. Downstairs, breakfast may include waffles, eggs, coffee, cereal, and a toaster that has seen more early morning drama than most reality shows. And beneath all that comfort is a cultural message. America tells visitors, sometimes without saying it out loud, stay a while. Bring the family. Bring the bags. Bring the noise. We made room. That is a powerful thing for fans who arrived with media images of a tense and broken country. They came expecting difficulty, but found convenience with a room key. They expected chaos, but found a bed, a shuttle, a breakfast bar, and a front desk worker who somehow remains polite after answering the same stadium question 200 times. Europe has historic hotels that feel like poetry. America has rooms that feel like recovery. During a World Cup summer, recovery matters more than people admit. So when someone jokes that the World Cup should happen here every year, maybe they are not only praising the stadiums. Maybe they are remembering the quiet miracle after the match. Opening a hotel door, dropping onto a huge bed, hearing the air conditioner hum like a patriotic lullaby, and thinking, with dangerous sincerity, I could get used to this. Food everywhere. The part that quietly wins over European fans is not always the trophy, the anthem, or even the stadium roar. Sometimes it is the moment they realize America feeds a crowd the way a grandmother feeds Thanksgiving guests, with love, suspicion, and a deep fear that someone might leave with normal blood sugar. This is where the World Cup starts feeling different. A football tournament needs passion, yes, but passion gets cranky when it has been standing in the sun for 4 hours with only a sad sandwich and a tiny bottle of water. America seems to understand this at a spiritual level. The country has built a food culture around movement, crowds, late nights, road trips, game days, and people who suddenly become hungry again even though they ate 40 minutes ago. For many European fans, matchday food back home has its own charm. In London, you might grab a pie, fish and chips, or something from a pub before heading to the stadium. In Munich, beer gardens and sausages have a rhythm that feels almost ceremonial. In Naples, Madrid, or Lisbon, the food can be beautiful, local, and full of soul. But it is often tied to streets, neighborhoods, reservations, closing hours, and the old city reality that space is precious, and kitchens are not always built for armies of visitors moving at once. America treats feeding crowds like a national sport that happens before the sport. Around big venues, you find fast food chains, diners, barbecue joints, taco spots, pizza places, food trucks, convenience stores, stadium concessions, hotel breakfasts, and gas stations that behave like they are trying to earn a Michelin star from a truck driver named Randy. The National Restaurant Association has often described the United States as having more than 1 million restaurant locations. And during a World Cup summer, that number stops sounding like business data and starts sounding like national infrastructure. This is why European fans begin to understand the addiction. In America, food is not just fuel. It is permission to stay longer. A giant burger tells you the day is not finished. A basket of wings says the argument about the last goal may continue for another hour. A refillable drink whispers that leaving early would be disrespectful to the cup. Even the hotel waffle maker becomes part of the tournament, standing there every morning like a small golden machine of democracy. The cultural difference is not simply portion size, although American portions do arrive with the confidence of a pickup truck backing into a parking space. The deeper difference is availability. A fan can land late, eat late, drive late, snack late, and still find something warm, salty, sweet, fried, grilled, wrapped, boxed, iced, or handed through a window by someone who has seen every version of human exhaustion. That matters because World Cup memories are not made only inside stadiums, they're made at 11:30 p.m. Over tacos after the game, in a diner booth where strangers compare accents, at a barbecue line where the smoke smells like a state fair married a campfire, and at a gas station where a European visitor discovers that snack aisle in America can look like a small parliament of chips. This is the America many fans did not expect. Not the cold, frightening, broken place they were warned about through endless headlines, but a country that keeps offering one more chair, one more plate, one more refill, one more recommendation from a stranger who swears the best ribs are 15 minutes away. Europe has food with history. America has food with momentum. During the World Cup, momentum is dangerous because once people taste how easy the whole day can become, they stop thinking like tourists and start acting like regulars. That is when World Cup every 4 years starts feeling strangely stingy. After a week of American game day food, some European fans are no longer asking whether the country can host it again. They're asking whether breakfast is still included tomorrow. Stadium jackpot. By this point, the European fan has already survived the highways, the hotel bed, and the food portions that seem personally approved by someone's uncle in Texas. Then comes the stadium, and this is where the whole World Cup every year idea stops sounding like fan comedy and starts looking like a facilities report wearing a team scarf. European football has legendary homes, and nobody with good sense would deny that. Wembley holds around 90,000 people and carries the kind of prestige that makes even a friendly match feel dressed in a suit. The San Siro in Milan, the Parc des Princes in Paris, and the great grounds across Germany, Spain, and England all have atmosphere that money cannot simply order online with 2-day shipping. Those places breathe memory, and that matters in football. America, however, has something different waiting in the garage. It has a whole fleet of giant stadiums built for sports that already expect thunder every weekend. MetLife Stadium sits at more than 82,000 seats. AT&T Stadium in Dallas was built around 80,000 and can expand far beyond that for major events. Sophie Stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, NRG Stadium, Lincoln Financial Field, Hard Rock Stadium, Levi's Stadium, Arrowhead Gillette. These are not delicate showpieces hoping the crowd behaves. These are event machines with cup holders, club levels, giant screens, loading docks, luxury suites, security plans, broadcast infrastructure, and concourses wide enough for a family argument to happen without blocking traffic. That is the part European visitors feel in their bones. In many European grounds, the charm can also be the limitation. Older stadium neighborhoods have soul, but they can struggle when modern tournament demands arrive with broadcast trucks, hospitality zones, sponsor activations, press areas, fan parks, buses, police routes, and tens of thousands of people all needing toilets at roughly the same tragic moment. A beautiful old ground can make your heart sing while quietly asking your bladder to be patriotic. American stadiums were born into the age of spectacle. They are used to NFL games, college football, Super Bowls, concerts, WrestleMania-sized productions, halftime shows, tailgates, marching bands, fireworks, flyovers, and crowds that treat the national anthem like a weather event. When the World Cup comes in, America does not have to learn how to think big. It mostly has to change the ball. This is why the media version of America begins to crack for visiting fans. They were told to expect a country falling apart at the seams, then they walk into a stadium where the escalators move, the screens sparkle, the bathrooms keep pace, the sound system behaves like it has a gym membership, and the whole building seems to say, "Relax, we have done louder things than this." For patriotic Americans watching these reactions, there is a quiet satisfaction in that. It is not about bragging for the sake of noise. It is about seeing outsiders recognize a national talent that Americans sometimes forget to appreciate. The ability to take a crowd, a schedule, a security problem, a food problem, a traffic problem, and a weather problem, then wrap all of it inside a day that families can actually enjoy. Europe gives football its cathedral feeling. America gives it the Super Bowl toolbox. During World Cup 2026, that combination becomes dangerous in the best possible way. Because once European fans see soccer placed inside American stadium culture, they start imagining what would happen if this country made it a summer ritual. And honestly, it is hard to blame them. When a stadium feels less like a building and more like a small city that learned how to cheer, waiting 4 more years begins to feel like leaving a perfectly good grill unused on the 4th of July. So maybe the real shock was never that Europeans asked for a World Cup in America every year. The shock was that America made the questions sound reasonable. Roads, rooms, food, stadiums, and strangers with smiles turned a tournament into a feeling people wanted to keep. They came with headlines in their heads, then left with stories in their pockets. Which American city would make visitors fall in love fastest? Tell us below and subscribe for fresh eyes on America.